crypto space. It is Friday night and I am tired. It's been a long day, lots of work, but I got a hot topic that my crew and the DigiByte community would like me to talk about verbally, not just textually. So here we are in live, living color with a whole bunch of tabs open in Brave browser, and we're going to go through the fun stuff about the big picture that is very obvious to myself that is playing out. I hit on some really big macro concepts. This world is a changing place. Things are moving quick. China's rolling out a national blockchain. I just posted a tweet to Tom Steyer saying, what are we doing about it? What is Congress doing about it? How are we competitive? So this project that I want to talk about tonight is a systemic disruptor. What is a systemic disruptor? A systemic disruptor is something that fundamentally changes the paradigm. And historically, for the last 11 years, we've had separate blockchains. And probably in the last 2 years or so, we started to have the concept of interoperability and things occurring across chains. And nowadays, we have Cosmos and Polkadot, which literally is an ecosystem of blockchains that are at the core designed to interact with one another, literally sharing assets across chains. And each chain operates independently, much like the UTXO chains, DigiByte, Bitcoin, and anything you could possibly think of, Litecoin, so on and so forth. So this whole thing that everyone is used to with blockchain and crypto is changing, and it's going to change faster than you even realize it's going to change. And it's really important to kind of know about this now because when it happens, a lot of the old chains are going to be left in the wind. It's not going to be DigiByte. It's not going to be Bitcoin. Probably not going to be Litecoin either. But there's going to be a lot of garbage that just falls off the radar as useless. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't do anything. And that's why we're going to have a talk tonight. DigiByte just nibble. You hit me up this afternoon and you're back for a little Friday night good stuff. All right, let's jump over to the main screen and take a peek. Nothing special in the notifications tab worth mentioning. Here, check this out. I want to show you the post that I hit up on Twitter, and we'll get to our main topic. Where is it? Here, no. I just wrote to Tom Steyer. Where's my post? Is it Steyer? I don't even know if it's Steyer. Oh my God, I have so much content. All right, whatever. As I said, I wrote to a congressman who's deep into blockchain tech. I'd love to know what the hell's going on. Anyway, I digress. Let's hit the main topic, Ren. Ren is basically, so systemic disruptor is a terminology I mentioned. Ren is basically like Chainlink. Chainlink is an oracle that provides real-world data to decentralized blockchain applications, so smart contracts on the Ethereum platform. And frankly, it can provide this data to any blockchain. It doesn't matter what the platform. But what's pertinent is that it was the first out of the gate disruption that provides this functionality. You got Teller and you got Band Protocol. Band Protocol is quite interesting because it's on the Cosmos platform, but they're not Chainlink. It is near impossible to experience the disruption of an ongoing disruption. Now, Ren is an ongoing disruption, and the only thing that comes even remotely close, TBTC. WBTC is a centralized solution. It simply cannot scale to the potential volume of capital that could flow through this ecosystem or this virtual machine, this utility. So you see the first word there is liquidity. Liquidity is the flow of capital, the capacity for one asset to turn into another, for value transfer to occur. Now, clearly, if you have a UTXO asset, you have a DigiByte, you have a Bitcoin, what happens if you want to exchange the two? What happens if you want to exchange Ethereum and Bitcoin? There's no liquidity there because historically the only way there was liquidity was a centralized entity, a centralized exchange that provided that type of functionality. So that's where we're heading with this technology. This is a way for a decentralized way to exchange Bitcoin and Ethereum, where you don't have to go through a deposit, a transaction, and a withdrawal. That is a ridiculous process. If you go to exchanges like this, like 1inch Exchange, you have an input, you have an output, you have a ledger device. There's no deposit, no withdrawal. You click swap, you get your rates, you get a swap. Now, how do you do this with Bitcoin? How do you do this with Digibyte? How do you do this with Blocknet? How do you do this with StakeNet? How do you do this with Four? How do you do with any of the really meaningful UTXO chains that will be around for a long time? The only way to achieve that is with something like Ren. Now, clearly, this is happening with Ren because I could go here to a decentralized exchange. There's no company, there's no server somewhere that could go down. There's no potential theft or way to steal your assets. Your assets are on your secure hardware wallet. But I could go here and I could type in RenBTC. And I could say I have one RenBTC and I want to swap it for a DAI, which is a dollar peg stablecoin, programmatic nonetheless. But let's see what the transaction rate is. All right, there's obviously horrible liquidity, but let's do here. That there's no liquidity with that. So this is where I don't want to get too complicated, but this is where WBTC comes into the picture. So let's check this out. There's complexities with it's only 2 months old. This is only 2 months into mainnet. And we'll get into Aave, Compound, and Oasis, which really are the driving force, the vacuum that sucks in the vortex that draws in people to participate in this liquidity process. Think about a wave pool, whether it's just standing still and it's boring, or a wave pool that's got waves going everywhere. That's liquidity, and that's transactions, and that's transaction fees, and that's volume, and that's potential yield. And that's why DeFi talks about the search for yield. Now, look at this. You could transfer a RenBTC for a WBTC, and here's your slippage. This is a decentralized exchange. This is not Bittrex. This is not Coinbase. I send something from my wallet to my wallet. Now, the whole point of this video tonight is to talk about, obviously, RenBTC, because that's what is currently the functional use case, and this can be applied to every single UTXO asset. All the old, historic crypto projects that have been around for years can now participate in any chain. They can participate in Ethereum smart contracts. They will participate in Polkadot parachains, Cosmos, hubs. It's going to go everywhere. You'll be able to swap any asset for whatever asset you want, and you will not have to deposit and go through transactions and confirmations. You will literally just swap one asset for another. Let's take a look at the comments real quick. Got two in a day, Felipe. Yes. Caterpie in the house. Charlie, my man. Gabrielle, live long and prosper. Digilight, 8 p.m. Yeah, it's been a long day. Oh, my goodness. Change Angel's cool. It's a non-custodial exchange. Bear in mind, you're not transferring from your hardware wallet to your hardware wallet. So it has its place, but this is the future, where you are always in control of your assets no matter what. renDGB, am I dreaming? Absolutely not. It's going to be renDGB. There's going to be the Ren block or whatever UTXO asset you could possibly think of. Frankly, the only UTXO assets I really think of is Bitcoin, Digibyte, Blocknet, StakeNet, Alquo, Four, I don't know, not many others. There's way too much power and potential with the other platforms nowadays for me to think about discrete UTXO blockchains. Is this online or a program? This is both. This is online and a program. This is a program that's online. Ethereum is a computer. and it executes code. And there's literally, just like you write a computer program, when you execute an Ethereum transaction, you're basically executing code that does a huge amount of processing on this decentralized computer. So what you're looking at here, Charlie, is a computer. You're executing. This defines the transaction. It defines the program that's going to execute. I want to transfer, let's say, uh, some balances. Let's say I want to transfer an Ethereum to a comp token. I want to transfer one Ethereum to a comp token. This is a computer that's going to swap this transaction from my wallet to my wallet. I know the relative price that the Ethereum's at. I know the relative price that the comp's at. In fact, I'm going to get a little bit of a gain in value. But this is called slippage. You could actually lose value. What this software does that Wonders Exchange created is it goes to liquidity providers and finds the best transaction possible. Now you got Uniswap, you got Balancer, you got Curve you got Kyber Swap. This is another liquidity provider. And all these platforms exchange tokens. These are DEXs. You've heard of DEXs. You know you've heard of them. And this has been online for months. Months and months and months. And this is DeFi, the craze that you've heard about that you might not have known everything that you could know about. Now, where does Ren fit back into the picture? Ren is liquidity. How does Ren facilitate UTXO assets participating in decentralized applications like this? I want a renDGB. So there's going to be Ren everything, as I said, but renDGB is what we're going to talk about. So so the first things first, how do you create a renDGB? We'll skip right here to the Ren bridge. This is how you take a DGB and turn it into a renDGB. You're going to have a digibyte drop down, inevitably, and there's going to be a list. It's inevitable. You're going to see, you're going to be scrolling for a week to go through the list. You'll select it, your destination. This is the way decentralized exchanges work. Let me show you. What's the easiest one? Let's take a look at here. So it all works off of pretty much MetaMask. There's obviously a lot of different wallets you could choose from. And obviously you could use your ledger. You could go directly to your ledger. You pop in your code, 66, boom. Oh, I need this. Got to go to Ethereum. Okay. 1 second, everyone. Okay, it already connected. So let's connect to this wallet. So this is my ledger, and here's my balance on my ledger. And when I want to get comp tokens with my Ethereum, let's say I want 0.25, I enter my 0.25 Ethereum that I have on my ledger wallet. It does the calculations, it finds the best swap price, and I will get comp tokens when I click swap. Now I want renDGB. So how do I get the renDGB? So let's say I have 100 DGB in my DigiBuy wallet. I would go to this page. I would select DigiBuy from the dropdown. My destination address is set the same way I just showed you. We connect the wallet. There's an option on top of all of these pages that do the same thing. Well, this is the app, and you'll see in a second. Connect your wallet, Kyber Swap. Here, connect your wallet is down here on Kyber Swap. You go to Compound. Here's connect your wallet, Oasis, Aave. It's all connect your wallet. It all runs through. Let me show you one more example. Here, look, Ren is getting hot. So let's say I want to deposit. So here's Aave's. Here's your wallet, and it's basic. It goes through MetaMask, or you can connect directly to your Ledger device. Now, bear in mind, you can connect your Ledger device through MetaMask. You go to the top right-hand corner, you click Import Account, you click Hardware, you click Ledger, and here's your Ledger. So your Ledger works through MetaMask, and therefore your Ledger works through almost every single D app across the planet. Now we'll get to Aave and what it does, but you go back here to RenBridge, you select Digibyte, you connect your wallet, you click Next. You click Next. You get your confirmation. Here's your transaction fees. I'm going to get 0.998840 renDGB. You click confirm. You get your pop-up, and it's going to give you a Bitcoin deposit address. And this will be identical to the way it is for Digibyte. You're going to get a Digibyte deposit address. You send your Digibyte to this address. A couple of confirmations later, what you're going to get is basically you'll go to your transactions. This is the new MetaMask. Where's the darn transactions list? Assets. So you go to your transactions list, and you'll have renDGB as an Ethereum token. Basically, if you go to Etherscan, what is an Ethereum token? Here, well, renDGB, renBTC Etherscan. So basically, this is what an Ethereum token definition looks like on Ethereum. We'll have a page for Digibyte just like this. It'll say renDGB. We'll have a contract address. We'll have a renDGB in our asset list. Now, what do you do with that renDGB? So the whole system really works on liquidity. So people are going to have to mint the renDGB, and they're going to have to add liquidity to these pools. Uniswap is very here. Let's go through 1inch Exchange, because 1inch Exchange is an aggregator. It gives you access to the entire liquidity space, giving you options and choices that are offered by all of these places individually. So you go to the Earn tab at the top, and look at all these places, what you can do with your liquidity. So this is all the things that you could do with renBTC. And I showed you just now how to get renDGB, which is how you get renBTC, how you get renZEC, how you get renBCH. And you take it here, you could earn interest. And how do you earn interest? What does that do? If you click here, you're going to say, I want to deposit one ren amount. Well, I don't have enough, so I'm going to deposit one renBTC and one WBTC, and this will put those two assets into a liquidity pool. Now, anyone that goes to here, if it scrolls up, anyone that goes to swap and selects renBTC, WBTC. So anyone in the world that goes to swap will have access to the liquidity you provided. So look, 0.25 renBTC to WBTC. And that transaction is going to take a little bit of a transaction fee. So every time someone does that transaction, your balance increases. So then you could take your value out of the liquidity pool, and instead of one renBTC and one WBTC, maybe you have a total of 2.05, 2.10 cumulative renBTC and WBTC. Your balance goes up, and this is where the yield comes from. It goes from people making transactions and there being a little bit of a transaction fee part of the process. And this is all of these products: Uniswap, Balancer, Kyber, CurveFi. These are all liquidity pools that facilitate liquidity, this capacity for people to exchange assets back and forth, with the people providing liquidity getting a portion of the transaction fees. 1 inch is great. 1 inch is ridiculous, John. Absolutely crazy. Charlie, my man, yeah. Noah, how would you invest in Ren? Well, Ren, the dark nodes, run a dark node, but obviously it's a relatively expensive investment. And that's you're asking me what I would do. I wouldn't. I don't hold Ren tokens. I hold enough Ren tokens to account for an entire dark node. It's a complicated story for another time. Oh, you're still working on DigiB mobile wallet? Not right now. I'm swamped with work. I have an extensive amount of work, and I've really enjoyed getting into the crypto education, this YouTube channel, and really hitting Twitter hard. I've been doing very different things. Um, I always talk with the DigiByte team, and frankly, I'm helping Hans with translations and getting some updated language files into the app. So stuff like that I could do, but I'm not actively developing substantial, meaningful features at this point. Assets works great anyway, right? John says, or is that already a result of integration? renDGB fees. Well, renDGB isn't available. It will be inevitably, and so will the rest of the UTXO space. Everyone's going to want to put their value in liquidity pools, and frankly, these over-collateralized lending platforms, Aave, Compound, and Oasis, which is another story unto itself. Why? Because what is your DigiByte doing right now in your wallet? Nothing. It's sitting there. But what if you could get 5%? What if you could get 8%? APY on your asset that is typically just sitting there. That changes everything. And how do you get this 8%? Look at Aave. Look at these percentage points. 5, 3, 2, 3, 3. You are going to get yield, but this is lending. This is over-collateralized lending. Over-collateralized lending is another story. I don't want to digress too much into it, but it's basically a risk-eliminated lending concept. There's no risk to your liquidity by the lending process, even if the person doesn't pay back the loan. You will lose nothing. The loan is over collateralized, but so the only risk is basically the stability of the platform. But bear in mind, Aave has $275 million. So that's how much this platform is trusted. That's how much money is currently in this platform. And Compound, I don't think it's here. It's red. Compound has even more. There's literally here. DeFi Pulse will give us some balances. Compound has more than Aave. Compound has $693 million worth of people putting in renBTC, putting in Ethereum, putting in all this stuff. $693 million. So these are very well established protocols and platforms that are earning people yield. Look at that yield. Would you rather keep it in a bank account at 0.01%? So why do I say this in particular? Take a peek at this. DAI is a US dollar stablecoin. It's protocol, but point being, it's representative of $1 that's earning 7%. USDC is Coinbase, their stablecoin, earning 5%. So you have $1 in your bank account, you can convert it to one USDC, which is equivalent to $1 at the bank account at any given time. And instead of getting 0.01% on your money, you get 5.15%. Here you got Tether, TrueUSD, SUSD, BUSD, clearly Ethereum. Ethereum's paying a high percentage right now, 1.17. That's quite interesting. But this is basically a 7% interest bank account. Absolutely fascinating. Uh, my man Charlie. So obviously, Oasis is another story. Oasis mints these DAI. You're able to create these DAI, and it's basically an over collateralized lending paradigm. But suffice it to say, the whole point of this quick video I wanted to do tonight was renDGB. You mint your renDGB. So here's an interesting thing. renDGB is one-to-one equivalent to DigiByte. And that is the whole technology of the renVM. renVM is the decentralized custodian of private keys. So you take a private key that contains one DigiByte. You're going to send that private key. You're going to send the DigiByte to this. What's on the screen is a Bitcoin address, but let's say it's a digibyte address. You send the digibyte to that address. The renVM has the private keys to that address, and the renVM is a decentralized network of 1,000 computers spread around the world. So no one has access to this private key. It's a decentralized custodian of private keys. Just like you guys know your private key from your Digibyte Core wallet. It's the same private keys, except it's controlled by many computers with algorithms and software and logic. Very powerful. So the network of dark nodes now has control of this private key. It then says, hey, Noah, here you go. Here's a renDGB. Thank you for giving me the 1 digibyte. Here's a digibyte. Here's a renDGB. And it puts it right in your wallet. There is no centralized servers. There's no deposits. Well, here's a deposit, but there's no withdrawal process like a centralized exchange. It goes right to your wallet. In goes digibyte, out comes renDGB. And then the future of the market requires liquidity on the liquidity pools, and then we'll be able to use the exchanges to swap between our renDGB and other assets. Then we could go on the over collateralized lending platforms and lend to get yield. And anytime you want to get real digibyte back, all you do is go to the bridge, you hit release. I have 100 renDGB. Run BTC. I enter my digibyte destination address. I click next. I have no balance. So point being, that it would go, if you look, you enter a digibyte destination address, and because digibyte is so fast, you're going to get your digibyte probably in a minute, and it'll go right into your digibyte address. Completely automated, no KYC, no sign up, no forms, no nothing. That is why Ren is a systemic disruptor of a massive amount of the crypto space currently. Comments are on fire. Definitely a pleasure. I'm happy to explain this to everyone. Digibyte. We'll take a look at the chart real quick. So what does Ren do? What would Ren do to any UTXO asset that gets onboarded into it? When you mint a renDGB, the renVM now has access to those private keys and holds the digibyte, which means that digibyte now is not on exchanges, even though you were probably holding it and not trading it. But the point is, this reduces circulating supply. So as the quantity of digibyte accumulates in custody by the dark nodes, basically we are triggering a deflation effect. We're disrupting supply. And this is happening right now for Bitcoin. There's currently $16 million worth of Bitcoin controlled by the 1,000 Ren dark nodes, and there's been a total of $45 million that have gone of Bitcoin that have gone in and have come out. Mint, burn. Mint, burn. 0.1% transaction fees that go to the decentralized network of dark nodes. So it's permissionless. You want to put it in, you put it in. You want to take it out, you take it out. But what's important to really process is that it doesn't matter whether it's in or out. A renDGB is one-to-one equivalent to digibyte. There's only a certain fixed amount of digibyte. There's no burning of digibyte. There's no destruction. It's immutable. So when you get a minted renDGB and you want to get your digibyte back, you put the renDGB in, you burn it, destroy it, and then the VMs give you your real digibyte back. It's always a one-to-one equivalent. So one renDGB is equivalent in every aspect to a digibyte. Now we could get into assets and like embedding a little bit of metadata in the renDGB mint process, but I think we're even premature for that. I think we'll look forward to getting renDGB up and running in the next couple months, and then we could talk about further iteration of the implementation. Yes, DigiByte is on Ledger. Um, no KYC, none of this. Everything I have up here, there is no KYC at all. And it's from your wallet to your wallet. You're lending, you're trading. Look at this beautiful interface on Maca. This is a 0x creation. It's from this asset to this asset, connect your wallet. There's no company, there's no servers. This is all executed on this decentralized network we call Ethereum, on software that executes in the smart contract implementations. Talk about a little bit of a paradigm shift. Bye-bye centralized exchanges depositing money, going through withdrawals, KYC, passport photos, licenses. No. No, bye-bye. Bye-bye. You won't be missed. We don't need you anymore. Why? $2.57 billion dollars are currently in this system that I've described a small part of. $2.75 billion. Dare I get into synthetics, SNX, the platform, and what it does? I mean, look at the list of the projects. Anything DYDX here. Well, I don't want to get into it. We're running over on time. DYDX is basically a decentralized Ethereum exchange. No KYC, connect your Ledger wallet, and you could trade Ethereum. You could actually have leverage. Leverage. Set protocol is very interesting. Nexus Mutual is DeFi insurance. There's insurance products being built on this, decentrally managed, decentrally governed. Here, I wanted to show you this one real quick, and we'll drop the stream. Diversify. So that what's happening is, as these liquidity protocols have been iterated on and built out over the last months, platforms like this have been built, which is really cool. These are wrappers, and it presents it in more of like a bank type implementation. So let's say I go to the compound page, and actually I haven't used this, but I know of them, so I follow them. So what's a good example? Smart saving? Yeah. So this is the presentation that they go with, and they interact with the Compound, the DYDX, the Aave, and the DSR protocols. And you could get 1.71%, 7.12%, or 6.98% on DAI. DAI is a US dollar programmatic stablecoin. One of them equals more or less $1. Beats the pants off 0.01% in a bank account. Rome says Ren is on Kyberswap, Uniswap, 1inch, Binance. Ren is on Change Angel. Ren is on everything. WooBring's another story. WooBring is really cool, and I think that's going to be a massive project. All right, ladies and gentlemen, DigiByte community, and any UTXO community for that matter, I thank you for joining me on this special Friday night episode of Noah Talks, because it's what I do. I talk. We got lots of ideas. This is crazy stuff, and this is just the beginning. Next episode is going to be even better. I'll see you on Twitter. Hit me up with questions, because we're going to keep this information train going. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I'll see you next time. Peace.